Jehan Ara. I'm the president of P SHA, and welcome to my new show, P SHA Unplugged. In this show, we are going to bring to you interviews and viewpoints from interesting people who've created some innovative products or are doing some really cutting-edge stuff and are making a name for Pakistan and for themselves all around the world. So, as the first in the series, we have Yasser Bashir, who is the CEO of Arbisoft. And Arbisoft works in a really cutting-edge space. And Yasser has tried to incorporate some really innovative processes within the company that enable more entrepreneurship to happen in Pakistan. So I won't give anything further away. Let's go and talk to Yasser and hear what he had to say. Hi, Yasser.
Hi, Jehan.
How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Fine, thanks. Great to catch you in Lahore. And I just wanted to do this interview, one of the first on my new show, P SHA Unplugged. A little bit about your background. Where were you educated? When and if you went outside the country? If we could start with your education, then we can go on from there.
Okay. So I went to UAT for my electrical engineering degree, but very soon realized that it wasn't going to work out there because in those days I think it used to take about 6 years to graduate from UAT. So then I went to the first BSc program at LUMS. I was one of the first people from one of the first batch.
Okay.
And graduated in '97 from LUMS.
Mm-hmm.
And then I worked for around 6 years in the local industry.
Okay, so what kind of companies?
The first one was a company called WorldWorks. I don't know if you know about it, but it was a Crestsoft offshoot. So
Okay.
at some point, a lot of people from Crestsoft left, and they decided to form a new company which would do things differently. And WorldWorks was the first one. WorldWorks was actually building telephony solutions for the mid-sized market in the US.
Okay.
And they had a huge product. They raised a lot of funds in those days. I think they raised something like $20 million, which was amazing.
Yeah.
So worked for a couple of years at WorldWorks, and then I was heading to the US on an H1 to what everyone else was doing, to do a consulting job in the US. But then this other company made me an offer, which was named Align Technology.
Okay, we've all heard of Align Technology.
We've all heard of that. And that was an amazing experience because Align was really doing what I wanted to do as an engineer. I mean, they were not doing run-of-the-mill business applications. They were doing cutting-edge 3D mathematical stuff, stuff that I hoped I could do when I went to the US. So that relationship lasted almost 3.5, 4 years.
And there were at one time about 1,000 people working for Align?
Right, so Align transformed me personally and a lot of other people in so many ways. I mean, the day I walked in, there were 20 people in one room, and the day I left for my graduate studies in the US, I think we were almost 900 people, all working from the PC hotel in 3 shifts. So it was an amazing company, grew really fast. And even by US standards, I think right in the midst of the dot-com crash, it was one of the fastest growing companies in the US. And they raised something like, if I'm not mistaken, something like $200 million in a space of 3 years, which was unbelievable.
Yeah, it is.
And, but then sadly the whole 9/11 fiasco happened, and Align decided that it was too risky for them to continue in Pakistan, although they did retain my team of engineers. I was heading the engineering team at Align, and we continued working from our office in the PC. And then in 2002, they actually called me to the US for just a trip, and a friend of mine said that he wanted to show me around. They were in Sunnyvale, which is right next to Palo Alto, where Stanford is, and he said he wanted to show me the Stanford campus, and I just drove with him to the campus, and I was just blown away by how gorgeous the building was and the energy and all the people. And so I immediately came back in 2002 and started applying for. I had no plans to do graduate studies. I had been working in the industry for almost 6 years, and then I just put everything into getting myself into Stanford, and that happened in 2003. So I went to Stanford. I did my graduate studies there, and came back in 2005 And in 2005, Align's original founder was launching another company called OrthoClear, which was going to do make a similar product but in a very different way. And so I joined OrthoClear and again saw an amazing transformation. When I joined, I think it was around 1,800 people. And a year later, in 2006, towards the end, it was almost 1,400 people. So once again, amazing growth, amazing transformation, really inspiring. And then OrthoClear went into some sort of patent litigation, which didn't end up too well for it. And that whole thing also didn't work out. So in the beginning of 2007, I'd always wanted to start something of my own.
Okay.
And there were some engineers that I'd worked with for a number of years, people I'd hired in Align, and people I'd worked with in OrthoClear. And they were also interested in doing something.
Mm-hmm.
So we had no money, absolutely no money. I had some savings, and I told them that, look, you don't have to come with me, but if you want to, here's an option that, we can start building some cool technology, maybe for others to start with, because we had to bootstrap the company.
Yeah.
But we thought that, later on, we'd probably start building our own products.
So tell me now, what space is arbisoft in, which is the company that you founded, right? And
so
what kind of products?
So all of the people that started Arbisoft, our company, we were just people who loved technology. We didn't have much of an idea of what exactly we were going to do, but we knew that we loved playing with technology, building it, and building products. And we'd done a variety of different things, from 3D stuff at Align to business software and all sorts of other things.
All engineers?
So this was all engineers, no business people.
Okay.
So we just started and started off really small in a one-room office, and we were all sitting around this one big table, all three of us. And that's where we started, and we didn't care about how much money we were making. We didn't care about what the direction of the company at that particular point was, but we just really wanted to do cool technology stuff. And so we searched our networks and tried to connect with people who would start giving us some work and then start paying us for it also. And I think we got really, really lucky also that in the beginning we got a couple of good contracts, not huge contracts, but they were enough to keep us rolling. And that's where we started, and we just put everything into it. I mean, 7-day weeks were a norm. We would just spend all the time in the office and just write code. And what that did was that these initial people, although they weren't big, they became great references for us.
Right.
And so when it was time to pitch to bigger clients, larger companies, these guys really vouched for how they'd seen us working and put everything into their work. And so one after the other, we kept on signing new contracts, new partners. And in each of those cases, I think whether those ventures with other people were successful or not, I think across the board, one thing was clear to each one of us, one of our partners, and that was that these guys really give it their everything. Like they do every project that we send their way as if it's their own project.
Okay.
So that was really great. Some of those companies were really successful. Some of those companies were not successful, but it was a very organic, step after step kind of a growth, where eventually we were very fortunate. I think fortune has to play its role. We were very fortunate to sign up some bigger companies, and just kept growing. So in 2011, Arbisoft, in fact in 2010, Arbisoft had crossed that sort of inflection point, where we were more than 50 people. We were decently profitable, and we could afford to hire new people and just start them on our own products.
Okay.
But then what happened was that as we would hire more people, the demand for our services would keep going up, and when you have stable partnerships, it's an obligation to keep meeting those needs also. So we kept growing as a service company until 2011, when we just stopped taking new service business, and we said that we would just focus on products. So in 2011 we started building our own product, and we're very excited about it, and this year we hope to release it with a bang. So let's see where that goes.
Okay, but wasn't that a risky decision to stop taking service work totally?
So I think what we wanted to do was to just increase our influence as an organization in the technology space, especially in Pakistan. As a service company, to really scale up, you need a lot of people. And in the longer run, you need to have a program which allows you to scale up by recruiting more people at a very fast pace. But we realized that if we wanted to grow, then we had to take that risk of going into product development, because there's no way a company in Pakistan can easily become like a Tata or an Infosys, because there are no engineers. I mean, you can't be a big engineering company, service-oriented engineering company in Pakistan, because Tata has more than 100,000 people in India, and Pakistan probably wouldn't have more than 15,000. Right now, it wouldn't have more than 15,000 or 20,000 trained engineers in the whole of Pakistan. So we thought that to scale up, we really, that was one reason, and of course we always wanted to do product development also, and now we could afford to. So yes, there was a risk, but we had a stable service business that could fund our product development activities, and that was growing at a sort of a linear growth curve, and we wanted to grow more exponentially. So we thought either we really find a solution to the puzzle that you just cannot recruit at a certain pace in Pakistan for engineering talent, or you get into product development and do that.
Okay. So how has the experience been as far as product development?
So the experience has been wonderful. So I was impressed with Google's product development strategy, and other companies like Google also. Basecamp is one company that a few people may have heard of. So Basecamp was this service company that needed a product to manage their services more effectively, and they were doing projects for other people, and they couldn't find anything in the market that would effectively let them do project management for their projects. So Basecamp started building this own product called Basecamp.
Right.
The company is called 37 Signals, I think.
Right.
And then it became such a big hit that it became their product, and they started selling it to others, and it was a very successful experience for them. And I think Google is also similar in some ways. A lot of the successful Google projects, for example, Gmail was an employee project which was meant to be an internal company project, and then everyone started using Gmail at Google, and then everyone started using Gmail for their email. So we had similar ideas. There were some pain points for us in managing our workflows that we thought could be addressed by no solution which was available on the market. Okay. So we started building this solution in the cloud which would allow people to automate their workflow management. Okay. Without doing any code. You could actually click a few buttons, move your mouse a little, and then you would be able to configure an application for the workflow that you were working with. And our rollout plan was that, first of all, we had to be convinced that it was something useful. So we thought that, this was a need that was there in the organization itself, and, we'd see how successful we are in addressing that need with our own product. And that we started doing last year. Right now, that product is being used across a number of workflows in the organization that we have, and it's pretty successful. And the next step was to actually go to our partners who were already using our services and tell them about this product that they could use. So then they started beta testing it for us also. And they have given us good feedback, and we are reiterating on our product so that we can address that feedback. And then when we launch, we will have a product that will have been used by a number of people successfully. So we think that we have a pretty stable plan to actually roll it out. Let's see how it goes.
So isn't marketing going to be a challenge?
So that's going to be a huge challenge, yes. And we have absolutely no sales and marketing presence in the US right now.
Right.
And but one thing that I'm excited about is the presence of all these online marketplaces now. So we built our product on top of the Google App Engine, and it's a Google Apps compatible application.
Okay.
And Google Apps has a marketplace. So
That's right.
Our plan is to actually roll it out there, and then give it whatever push we can, and then have our current beta testers go in and review the product for us. And we'll see how that experience goes. But the thing that excites me is that Google App Google Apps are being used by Google's numbers, almost 4 million businesses right now.
Wow.
And so that marketplace is open to 4 million businesses, and God knows how many employees work for those businesses. So it's a huge market, and it's still very fledgling stages. But I'm definitely betting on it becoming big in a few years.
Okay, and so now there's still 50 people working in your organization?
So now we're almost more than 100.
Okay.
And we've grown. We are very fortunate. I think there's a lot of hard work, but I don't think we can discount the impact of luck. I think we've been very lucky also. We've been very fortunate to sign up really good businesses as our partners. So kayak.com, which is the #1 travel search engine in the US, is one of our big partners. Indeed.com, which is the #1 job search engine in the US, is our partner. We're doing a lot of work with Stanford University because I had some linkages there. So we've been very fortunate, and these are stable partnerships who've been, who've benefited from the relationship with us, and we've benefited from our relationship with them. So hopefully they can continue to, fund our product development activities. I think what we've done is that we've built a platform which should lead to bigger successes now. We've built a platform. We're just waiting for some Shahid Afridis to come in and hit a few out of the park. So
and it will happen. I'm sure it will. But you've made it to the Pakistan 100, which is your most recent success. And how was that? And what's that experience been like?
I think that experience has been wonderful. I wouldn't call it a success. I think it's a big milestone. I still think that we have to go far. But it's a great initiative. It will bring a lot of visibility to tech companies in Pakistan. And you always benefit from networking with other people who are going through problems similar to yours. So it's a great networking platform, and it creates great visibility opportunities for companies participating in it. And in that sense, it has been really good.
Okay. Now tell me your Stanford experience. What a lot of young people would like to go to graduate school in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Can you some of the things that you were involved in at Stanford that helped you grow as a person, as an engineer, and as a founder of your own company? Is there anything in particular that happened there? Any initiatives that they run that you would think added to your being who you are today?
I think absolutely. I think that was a phenomenal experience, and there were so many things that happened that I think contributed towards us doing what we are doing. But I think if I were to name a couple of them, I think one thing you realize when you're at a place like Stanford is that everyone is gaining the confidence that they can do something, and you see all sorts of people around you just wanting to go out there and do whatever they love doing and make something out of it, and you start losing that fear of the unknown, and that fear that you probably can't do it. You see so many people doing it that you get the impetus to actually go out there and do something as well. So that's on a philosophical level, being in a place where a lot of smart people are trying to do a lot of things, that really helps. But on a more practical note, I think there's coursework that you can do at Stanford which really helps. So we had this one course called the Technology Venture Formation. So where you form a team, and then you form a business plan, and then real VCs from Sand Hill Road come in, and you pitch your plan to them, and then they tell you your chances of success, or what the flaws in your business plan were. And that again, I think, gives you the whole experience of how to form a team, how to build ideas, and how to turn your ideas into a viable business. And that also really helped. For me personally, I was at the engineering school, and some of the things that I learned there were really amazing. I mean, back in the Align days, I'd used a device called the Phantom Force feedback tool, which allows you to virtually touch objects in a virtual 3D world. And turns out that the guy who invented the device was one of the professors in one of the classes that at the CS school. So I went to him, And he was really excited that I was one of the first users of his. This was cutting edge 3D technology, and he was really excited that I'd been one of the users of his devices, and took a graduate course with him. And we built a game where you could interact with Fluid using his Phantom device, which Sega actually invited one of my partners to go to this game convention in Japan and present it to a number of people. So I think that was one of the transformative experiences. I mean, that kind of thing gives you the hope that you can do something and the world is your stage, and they can either accept it and make it really big, or so things like that. I think there were lots of things like that which would help you. That the energy of the place is just amazing. There are so many influential people in the tech world that you get to meet and see. Stanford is a very entrepreneurial school, so almost everyone who comes out of the graduate school is thinking of doing something on their own, and all of that helps. I think it's all helpful.
Now, why did you not stay on in the US? Why did you decide to come back to Pakistan? A lot of people would think that you're pretty crazy, to have done that.
Right. So yeah, I had absolutely no plans of staying in the US. In fact, I was working for this research department, and they had offered me a full-time job before I graduated, and it was very tempting, but I told them that I had absolutely no plans of sticking around. And the reasons for that were, I think there are a couple of reasons. One was that my experience with Align, for example, had shown me what creating an impact for people in Pakistan looks like. I mean, growing from 20 people to 800 people, and then I remember that Align had this all hands kind of a dinner one day. We used to work in 3 shifts, so we never really realized the impact that this organization was creating. And on that one dinner, all 800, 900 people and their families showed up, and it was a huge gathering of almost 3,000 people. And we really realized, there's this one company that came in and built this business, and a year later it's literally impacting thousands of lives. So that was a big motivator for me, doing something that can create a lot of impact. I don't think I could have created that impact if I'd chosen to stay in the US. So that was one big reason. The other was that it's always good to start something with people that you have a relationship of trust with, and a professional relationship of trust with. So friends and family, that's great, but people you've worked with and have confidence in the ability of, I think those people are really good people to start business with. So all of those people were here. I mean, I was a veteran of the local Pakistani industry. I had most of my linkages, contacts here. So I came back because I knew I could form a good team in Pakistan. So those were 2 big reasons, I think.
Do you think it's been a problem having mostly engineers within your company and no business people, or are there business people now within your organization? I'm assuming that they're still predominantly engineers.
So yes, we are still a very engineering-centric organization, and I think at some levels, definitely, I think I cannot undermine the value of having business development or business generation people in the organization. But as an engineering organization, we were growing fast enough that we didn't think about really developing a business side of the organization too much. So to this day, I mean, starting from me all the way to the bottom, we are still a very, very engineering organization, but that's not something that we would like to retain. We'd like to change it. And I think the biggest business area where we need help is definitely HR. Because, and in fact, I think any technology company in Pakistan would tell you that HR is the biggest puzzle that they need to solve.
Right.
If someone can come in and solve the HR recruitment puzzle, I think they can do wonders for this industry and the companies here.
Okay, now you did mention that we don't have enough engineers, and if we did, perhaps we would be growing much faster.
Right.
What do you think we can do as a country to change that? Is it because kids don't understand how exciting engineering can be, or what kind of growth there can be in engineering? What can we do? I mean, there's so much talent here, and we see it all around us.
So I don't think I'm qualified as a policymaker to comment on it. I think definitely you need to have more quality engineering schools. And in fact, over the past couple of years, I've been feeling very optimistic about it because we've been hiring from, let's say tier 2 schools outside of Lahore, and our experience has been amazing so far.
Mm-hmm.
So we getting graduates from places like Bahauddin Zakriya University in Multan.
I've heard good things about them.
Islamia University in Bahawalpur has been amazing. University of Gujarat, believe it or not, only I think 4 or 5 years old, has been producing amazing graduates. So that gives me a lot of hope. What I said was that right now it seems like the environment is not perfect, but we're going in the right direction in some ways. I mean, those universities are producing good kids. They're not as polished as kids coming out of tier 1 schools, but they're very, very sharp, and they have a lot of thirst for learning. So that gives me hope. And I think, so I can comment on what organizations can do.
Yes.
And I have some really inspiring stories there coming out from our own company, Arbisoft. I mean, one story that inspires me to this day is that, I had this guy, doing some furniture for my office, and he said that his son had just just come out of high school, and he had some time to pass before his college started, and if I could give him an internship without pay. So I said, sure. I mean, we were very small at that time, only 10 people. So I call the kid in, and I give him like very simple assignments like, okay, go collect this data from the internet for me. I think less than 4 weeks later, he came to me and he said that he had discovered a few tools on the internet that would help him do that automatically. And I said, great. I mean, some of those tools we hadn't heard of. And I said, great, wonderful. Go use those tools. 5-6 months down the road, he came to me. So he started doing a lot of those data collection kind of tasks for us. 5-6 months down the road, he came to me and he said that if he knew a programming language, he could probably write those tools himself. Wow. So I said, wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. So I started training him in Java and got him associated with one of our senior Java people. To cut the long story short, this is 4th year with us. He's one of our best programmers. Many, fast and even sometimes LUMS graduates work with him, report into him. And he's an amazing person. And he's Kayak have called him to come to the US a few times. He didn't get his visa, so he couldn't go.
But did he go to college, or did he just start working?
He just started working, and then he got admissions in somewhere outside of Pakistan. And I said, we were ready to fund him, but he was having so much fun. He said, I just want to stick around. But then eventually now I have forced him to actually go out there and get a degree because I think it's important for him. So he's doing a part-time computer science degree. Okay. But I really don't think that he needs it. I mean, he's just amazing. So I get excited by that because how many kids like that are out there who didn't get an opportunity to go to a tier 1 or even a tier 2 school, but they have they have the IQ, they have the drive and the passion to do something. And if organizations can have their own programs where they can start identifying such people and then giving them some training, I think that would be huge. So that's one thing that we are really psyched about. So we want to identify kids from outside of Lahore maybe, and then have a really strong training program for them. I mean, MIT has all of its courseware online. Stanford has online courses. The way Khan Academy is transforming education for school-going kids, why can't we transform education for kids that have graduated from school and are now college-going age? So I want every organization to have this little university within itself which creates training and education opportunities for kids coming out. And I think that can have a transformative impact. And it really is the key to growth also, because you'll be having so many more people that you can use for your growth.
Right, so and this will change their lives as well.
Absolutely.
And they'd be doing work that they're happy doing.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so much educational material online available now that you could have a virtual university running inside your organization, and you could be using a learning management system to just manage all those courses and getting people trained without any instructors involved.
But do you think language would be a problem?
So yeah, that actually is one of the things, and one of the first courses that we want people to take when they come in is an online English course, which tells them how to read and write and speak, so that they attain a certain level, and then you move on to other courses. But what I find difficult is just continuing to rely on the government sector or universities. I mean, we've done that for the past few years, and yes, they're doing a good job, but they're too few of them, and to really serve the need of this fast-growing industry sector, I think we have to do something on our own, and that seems to be my plan for growth. I hope some other people adopt it also.
Yeah, I think some companies are already doing this.
Yes.
But the more the better, I think.
Absolutely.
Because we need that momentum. And I think there are companies in Karachi, Lahore, Islamabad who've all started training centers out of a need.
Right.
But probably if they could start putting up that material online, right, and in multiple languages, because they don't have a problem with putting this up in Urdu or in Punjabi. Khan Academy, I believe, has been translated into Pashto now. So
that's wonderful.
So
Khan Academy is such a wonderful example. Sorry to cut you, but
yeah.
It's not just courseware. It's not just training material.
It's concepts.
It's concepts, and it's also tracking, right? I mean, so you can track your own progress. I mean, you can go in and take exams and see whether you're learning something or not, and you can take a pause and go back, or if you've gotten to a certain level, you can go to the next level. So it just completes the loop. I mean, MIT has put up its courseware online, but
but there's no tracking.
There's no tracking. There's no management. So combining educational material with that, virtual classroom.
That makes it a learning material rather than just education.
Absolutely. So that's what I'm excited about, and I think we should do it for professional training. And if we can build a platform to do it, that's great. But in any case, I think we should do it on our own little platform if we can.
Okay. So now, what's in the future for Arbisoft?
So there are two sides of the business. There's the service business, of course, and our plan to grow and scale the service business is what I've just talked about, which is that have a very, very strong training program, and then build your own recruitment pipeline, which takes graduates from that training program and then helps you grow the service business. On the product side, again, inspired by Google, we have this in-house program where we incentivize people to work on a product idea in their spare time, maybe evenings and weekends, and if they get any slack time during their work, work on an idea, build something that you can demo to us, and bring it to the company. And then, the company will decide whether it's a product that the company is interested in investing into. So if it is, then the company takes it up and becomes a partner with the person who started it. And it's a growth opportunity for both, employees and for the company itself. So 15 years down the road, ideally, Arbisoft would be, this fund that has funded a lot of other companies that are doing really remarkably well, and that have spun off into being independent entities in their own right. And 15 years down the road, Arbisoft will probably have a training program so strong that it can scale its service business to any heights it wants to. So those are the big long-term goals. Whether employees bring products to us or not, we have plans to do our own products. We're psyched about our current product, and we'll probably continue to do more products. So yeah, that's the plan.
Well, good luck, and I'm sure we'll see you in the headlines.
Thank you very much.
So that was Yasser Bashir, the CEO of Arbisoft, and it was great talking to him. I hope that some of you will carry on a conversation with him online on this channel. Next time, I'll come to you with another episode of P SHA Unplugged. If you would like to hear about anyone, or of someone who's doing some interesting things, call me, email me, let me know so that I can go to them with my camera and get them to talk about it.